Okay, Spartans, it's day 18. That means we are 3/4 of the way through. For the people that are just getting to the finish line, let's go through our quick write from Friday. I'll explain the quick write for today, a little tech tutorial, and then I'll let you guys jump back into Edgenuity. So, 3/4 of the way up. We're up to 75% today. Let's check the pacing before. For the people that weren't caught up, you might have been dropped from the class. You should verify if you're still in the Schoology roster. Uh, but if you are still in the class, you should be pushing up to 75% today. So good, Barb's there. Kim, you're still up there. Josephina's good. Good, 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 good. For the people that weren't caught up that had sent me an email, you're still in the class, but you guys need to catch up because you don't want to put a bad grade on your transcript. Um, let's look at Chem B's progress. Chem B, good. Denise, you really got to catch up. Jesus, same thing. Andy, same. But it looks like you guys are going a little bit. Okay, now let's look at your first response for the technology. I haven't coded before, not really into it, not really into it, don't know anything about coding. Okay. Nobody's really coded. I feel it's difficult to understand. I think the amount, okay, of technology I already know is sufficient. I notice not the most or a lot, but it is enough to turn in homework and be able to fix Wi-Fi when it goes down. Yes, okay. Well, that is sufficient for doing the bare minimum. But remember, the better you get at this, the uh, more valuable your skill set will be. You will have an easier time getting a job using these skills. I'm comfortable with it. Okay. And people want to learn how to code. So let's look at your guys' scratches. Some people actually made their scratch. This was my scratch project where I just made a cat moving around and it just keeps going and the pitch goes up. And we're not going to destroy our speakers there, so we're going to let that go. Let's look at your guys' projects. Onchi's project looks like it doesn't actually have a start to it. So you had to put in that start flag. Okay. Uh, I don't think, Emily, that's yours. It's just a micro bit. Let's see. Well, I believe that's just our demo. Yeah, that's the same one. Okay. So, Retsy, you need to put in yours if you were able to make one. Beyonce made this one with a text box. Hello. Perfect. Okay. Now, I'm not expecting a huge, full-fleshed project here, but just to see, and that one's missing a start flag. And Francisco's Bruh Let's see. Bruh also missing a start. So you guys just missed the start on some of those. That was one of the steps that you had to have. That's okay. It's okay. And then your picture evidence, I saw those in Drive. Remember that you have to give me access. Perfect. Need to give access and then no questions. Bit confused on the scratch, but I tried. Okay, perfect. Elmer, yes, I'll send you an email. Over the last things we had to do because that got me confused. Okay, so that was a coding exercise. Hopefully you watched the video and that could have helped resolve that. Let's see, Chem B, see what you guys made. Isabella, oh, push the green flag, nice. Isabella's looking good. Is our demo? Well, let me share it. It said unshared at the bottom. Okay. Well, I'll give you the point though. www.notshared.com. Give you that point. Can't find that one for some reason. Denise, that's just the tutorial. That's not your scratch. And Beyonce, we already saw yours from before. Okay, good. And I saw your guys' picture evidence again. Oh, Denise, okay, I like it. Okay, no question. What time does the quick write lock? It is currently being locked the following morning when I manually do it. I will probably be setting it to automatically lock during the normal semester, during designated periods, class periods. That's something that I think will uh, be happening in the school year. Is your time frame is going to be more important. Making sure that you're in class at the time that I need you is going to be an important part of the fall regimen, I'm pretty sure. But for right now, I lock them the following morning. So as long as you do them that day, you're good. Okay, so let's do what I wanted to do today. Today, I wanted to go over some molecular structures, make sure everybody is comfortable with molecular structures, besides getting up to 75% in ingenuity. So the first one, if you were shown a molecular structure of a compound like this link, do you know what the balls and sticks represent? What atom is represented by red spheres, black spheres, white spheres? What do the lines represent? So if you look at a molecular structure like this, this is the ball and stick model, where there are certain things represented by balls, these spheres, and there are certain things that are represented by these sticks in between them, in between the spheres. So this ball and stick model, the balls are just representing atoms, where those atoms should be in the structure. Now, if you watch the video, I'll just tell you the answer. Black is typically represented by carbon, and you can think of that as graphite. So like the graphite in your pencil, your colored pencils, uh, or just your regular #2 pencils, that's graphite. That is just a sheet of carbon. It's not lead. We haven't used lead for a very, very long time for writing purposes. Um, and uh, so hopefully that helps you remember. The black is carbon. The red, well, you think about red is kind of for blood or life. The reason that red is or blood is red is because it's oxygenated iron. So you can maybe remember red as oxygen because you need that. It's vital for life. Well, aerobic life, not necessarily anaerobic life, but aerobic life needs red oxygen. And then the white will be hydrogens. Blue, those are nitrogens. Okay, so those are our four that we have there. And this is actually acetaminophen. Um, so if you watch the video, you can just answer right there. That's what those mean. Uh, Read this article on the most deadly drugs. So if you just Google most deadly drugs, there's actually an article from addictioncenter.com that gives you a breakdown of the most dangerous drugs. Strangely enough, one of the most dangerous drugs is Tylenol. Uh, there's a number of people that overdose on Tylenol, and it causes really bad liver damage, and sometimes it's irreversible. It it has been many a situation where somebody has taken too many Tylenol and they go to the hospital and there is absolutely nothing they can actually do for them. So you got to be careful about that. That's why that's why we always have tamper-proof bottles so that babies can't swallow a bunch of Tylenol. Because even though we use it and it's over the counter and it's so common, it is one of the most dangerous drugs that we know of. Alcohol is another one that's super dangerous, but we're just so accustomed to it. So I just wanted to go through this list and see if anything was interesting or uh, kind of made you think about it. Um, Kind of think about, oh, I didn't realize that that drug was so dangerous. Um, that would be that one, that quick write. Um, then I want to make sure that you guys are familiar with a very powerful tool called MoleView. So moleview.org, if you go to moleview.org, this gives you the ability to see both the written model, like so, as well as seeing the ball and stick model, and you can also see this in any dimension. So it's three-dimensional. You can rotate it, you can get an idea. Now in chemistry and biology, the shape of a structure really kind of defines its form or its function. Form defines function. So the shape of something is going to actually be responsible for the activity that it usually is responsible for. Um, in that way, if you have shapes that are very similar, then you we're going to have those molecules interact with similar things. That's one reason why, so we breathe in oxygen gas. That's two oxygens right next to each other. This gets taken up by it diffuses through our lungs. It gets taken up by hemoglobin in our red blood cells. It attaches to that hemoglobin, and then hopefully it gets circulated throughout your body and distributed and dropped off to the cells that need oxygen. But if you have carbon monoxide, which is pretty similar in shape to oxygen, because it's similar in shape, it's going to interact with the same things. This will interact with hemoglobin and it will bind it and prevent it from binding oxygen. And if you breathe in too much carbon monoxide, it displaces the oxygen and you can die. So shape affects function. If we should be aware of things that have similar shapes. So what I want you guys to do is Google different opioids. We're going through an opioid epidemic. Oh, sorry, I misspelled that. Let's make sure I didn't misspell it here. Opioid. Did I fix that? Maybe. Oh. Opioids are a drug that work with specific opioid receptors in our brain. Many molecules of the specific shape will fit these receptors, so there are many different opioids. There are tons and tons of different opioids, and they all have different potencies. You might hear news stories about different opioids showing up on scene, like fentanyl. We've had a bad fentanyl problem across the nation the last few years. It's a very, very strong, powerful opioid. These are very addictive and they cause problems. Um, the street version of all of these opioids is, well, you'll Google it. Um, and I'd like you to compare two of these shapes and see if the shapes look similar, what differences there might be. So let's compare codeine, which is just normal over the counter pain killer. We can see the shape. It's a pretty big shape. We have these big rings. We have this 5-membered ring here with the oxygen here. We have this OH group on the end here, or sorry, this OC group. We have an OH here. We have this amine right here. And then compare it with something like OxyContin. Let's see. This is a much more powerful drug. This causes a lot more pain relief, and this is abused by a lot of people. Look at the difference between OxyContin and codeine. Not much difference. In fact, the only difference that I can see, two differences, this H is replaced with an OH, and this OH is just replaced with a double bonded O. Those two changes make this extremely potent as a painkiller, but it's not much difference. So all those drugs are all kind of similar and they can all be abused. So you got to be careful about that. Anyways, I want you to compare two of them. Just Google the list different opioids and you can just compare any of these. Compare codeine to fentanyl, codeine to hydrocodone, any of those. I just want you guys to be kind of familiar with MolView, get a feel for it, and also be kind of aware of this opioid epidemic. It is a problem. If you know anybody who has a problem with it, definitely see if you can give them a hand. They probably need medical treatment. Anyways, hopefully those activities are interesting. Keep going on to the next part of Edgenuity, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Have a good one.